Because joining us now from Arlington, Virginia is McCain campaign senior advisor Nancy Pfotenhauer, and from Asheville, North Carolina, the Obama campaign's communications director Robert Gibbs. And welcome to you both. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Diane.
Ms. Pfotenhauer, let me start with you. We hear from the Campaign Media Analysis Group 100%, virtually 100% of Senator McCain's ads are negative, and we know what Governor Palin has been saying out there. Is this the campaign John McCain wants to run?
Well, Diane, I think this is, we're down to the last stretch of this campaign, and it's absolutely essential that the American people hear not just about Senator McCain's plans for the future, which, of course, we've been talking about every day on the campaign trail for a very, very long time, but also about the decision they have to make between these two individuals who will be leading the United States and be commander-in-chief of our armed forces. And there are very distinct differences. And I think it's obvious that we've struck a nerve when the Obama campaign is releasing negative ads preemptively on a charge that we haven't even made yet. So clearly they don't want to talk about this, even though the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Chicago papers have all been talking about this.
Let me get your response, Mr. Gibbs.
Well, look, I think you hit the nail on the head, Diane. They don't want to talk about the solutions that they have for this country or the problems that exist in our economy. They'd much rather go to dishonest, despicable smear campaigns. They said it in the papers this weekend. They can't win this election on the economy. They want to turn the page, and they want people to forget about the bad economic times. Well, but, Diane, people that are struggling to stay in their homes and keep their jobs, they can't forget about the economy, and they're tired of this dishonest, despicable attacks from John McCain.
Let me ask you about your decision to run an ad about the Keating Five, which happened back in 1987 through the early 90s, and at the end of which Senator McCain was found only guilty of poor judgment in attending some meetings. Is that what the Obama campaign wants to be doing?
Well, look, it's very relevant to what we're seeing today. That poor judgment and a rebuke by the bipartisan Senate Ethics Committee was based on the fact that John McCain pressured regulators to turn their eyes away from criminal activity that caused tens of thousands of people to lose their life savings and billions of taxpayer dollars wasted propping up a failed bank that John McCain tried to cover up. Of course, that's relevant today. We see banks collapsing all the time, and the question is, do you trust John McCain to be the steward in this economy?
Ms. Pfotenhauer?
As you pointed out, Diane, Senator McCain was actually exonerated by the Senate, and the Democratic counsel at the time said that he had recommended both John McCain and John Glenn be dropped from the initial complaint, and the Democrats wouldn't do it because then it would have been only Democrats who were targeted. But let's talk about the economy, because that's what we talk about 3/4 to 2/3 of the time on every speech in front of every American that we can reach. And we talk about the important.
Let me ask you about Greg Strimple, who is one of the senior advisors for the campaign. He said the point of all of this, we are looking forward to turning the page on this financial crisis, getting back to discussing Mr. Obama personally. Turning the page on this financial crisis?
Diane, I actually listened in on that conference call. I don't make all of them, but I make as many as I can. And so I personally listened to that conference call. And what Greg said is, by getting the bailout package through Congress, we're going to stop the hemorrhaging of the economy. And we end up being able to say we're going to go from stopping the hemorrhaging to how to get the economy back on track to build jobs, create the right environment for Americans to do better. But we had to first stop the hemorrhaging. And I think our campaign put a lot more on the line, frankly, to try to solve that problem than Senator Obama, who tried to phone it in. And so we're focused on Senator McCain's plan to keep taxes low, keep spending down, and to open up foreign markets for our goods. And that's a right recipe. It's a recipe for success, whether it's tried here or in other countries.
So 29 days out, am I hearing from the both of you this is not going to stop? Mr. Gibbs?
Well, look, Diana, that was the most amazing answer I've ever heard from a political operative in my life. They basically just made up a quote in order to try to bury again that their campaign said they wanted to turn the page on the economy. Their campaign is quoted in the newspaper this morning as saying, if we talk about the economy, then we lose this race. The American people deserve a discussion about plans to create jobs, and people like Barack Obama want to cut taxes for the middle class so that we can get our economy moving again. This is more than about somebody's political career. This is about getting our country moving again. The McCain campaign would rather have us ignore all the problems that the middle class are facing and get into despicable, dishonest smear campaigns. It's not what the American people want, and it's not what they deserve 1 month before this important election.
I want to ask something, Ms. Pfotenhauer, if I can, before we go, because Karl Rove, on his blog, Karl Rove himself has said that if the election were held today, Barack Obama would win. And he says, we have given Barack Obama his first lead over the magic number of 270 since July. What we may be seeing is people reacting to McCain suspending his campaign, which they may have seen as a political gesture. Karl Rove says if it were today, Barack Obama would win. Do you agree?
Wouldn't even pretend to project those things. I mean, I think Karl Rove obviously has built a career on doing that type of analysis, but the election isn't today. The election is four weeks and change from now, if you will. And one thing about what Robert just said, it's really offensive to me, because Senator McCain and Governor Palin, literally, if you do the word count, 2/3 to 3/4 of every single speech they make in front of every single audience is about getting this economy moving again. And whether the Obama campaign correctly spun or was out there spinning like crazy trying to discount Senator McCain's motives on what he did on the bailout crisis, he pulled $12 million worth of advertising off the air almost 40 days out from an election in order to underscore that it wasn't politically motivated. And that was a tremendous act of political courage, so they can spin all they want. But Senator McCain's built his career doing what's right for the country rather than what's politically expedient, and that's the opposite of Senator Obama.
That's our last word for this
morning.
Nancy,
what the American people want you to do now is pull off your negative advertising, and let's get back to talking about the issues like turning this economy around rather than pretending that we can sweep it all under the rug.
All right, that's the last word.
What has John McCain...
We've got to take a break here. I thank you both so much for being with us, but we have to move on, and we do want to check back in with David